What's going on, everyone? So today I got a really exciting list. It is Wat Tambor Red. I've been playing this deck for the past couple of days, and I've had just a massive amount of fun with this. Absolutely swarming the board with a bunch of low-cost units, and actually getting in for massive chunks of damage because of Wat Tambor's action. There's a bunch of ways you can build this, and we'll talk about those in just a moment. We're going to be diving into some games on Tabletop Simulator, of course, due to basically my patrons. And that's what I want to start off with. A big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. Guys, we just get to chat all the time, and of course, get to set up games very, very easily, which was absolutely amazing. So if you want to check that out, join in on the conversation, and maybe get in some games with me, check that out in the description down below. But also, I have a TCG player link. Be sure to use it for all your Star Wars Unlimited card needs. Let's talk Wat Tambor and some things that have been going through my mind for the past couple days. So there's a bunch of different ways you can build Wat Tambor. Going with an aggressive strategy and trying to leverage all the different units, going with a more mid-rangey strategy and kind of just getting some value trades along the way after another unit had died with Wat Tambor, or going with the exploit way where you're playing big units, sacrificing your units to give pumps to other units and get some value trades there. I decided to go with that first way. Rush, rush, rush. This deck has a total of 15 one resource plays. And it might seem like a lot of them are weak. They are not, because of Wat Tambor's ability. In fact, them dying is oftentimes a bonus for us. It is really, really awesome, okay? And one thing that you really want to pay attention to with Wat Tambor is that you want your units to die. Having these one-cost units die is something that we actually want to have happen. Now, we don't want them to die like completely. We still want to have, one unit left over so we can actually get the value from Wat Tambor, but that's the beauty of it. We need multiple units. And in some cases, that space unit, and we have quite a few of them, can be the target for the +2/+2. So our ground units die, space unit gets pumped up, and you get in for a ton of damage, which is really, really sweet. The thing that's most important, though, is for that Wat Tambor flip turn. We don't have any ramp, but that Wat Tambor flip turn is usually the game ender. You have a couple units, let's say 1 to 2 units. One of your units dies after, maybe you have initiative, maybe you don't. Let's say one of your units dies, maybe you get an attack within it, maybe you don't. You give +2/+2s to another unit. You flip to Wat Tambor. You get to attack their base for 3, and you get to give +2/+2 again to another unit. That's a total of 7 damage just from Wat Tambor himself, from the action and the flip. And that's not including some of the other combos that we got, like Fallen Lightsaber. I shouldn't say combo, but combo. Fallen Lightsaber to pump up Wat Tambor for even more damage, and some other things associated with it. But to back that up, again, we have a bunch of one-drops, a little bit of a trooper synergy. We have General Tog in there, Bo-Katan. Basically, all of our 1 and 2 resource plays that are on the ground are troopers. And then we have a little bit of a minor separatist synergy with Vanguard Droid Bomber. This hitting for 2 is absolutely amazing. Wat Tambor himself is a separatist, and we top out at the 4 resource mark in terms of units. We got a couple like Relentless Rocket Droid Heavy. Both these can smack for massive chunks. Our 3 drops Hu Yang, really nice in terms of just getting that +2/+2 for extra value. And of course, they're going to have to kill off Hu Yang, so you can still get that +2/+2 over that unit. I decided to go with B1 attack platform because it's a separatist unit, to go ahead and go with Vanguard Droid Bomber. It also smacks as potentially the highest power 3 resource play besides like a Jesse, for example, which is really, really nice. And the top end of our curve, we've got Overwhelming Barrage, which works excellently in the deck, giving +2/+2. Let's say a TIE Fighter puts it at 4 power. Overwhelming Barrage puts it at 6 power. So there's almost always something, despite having low cost units, that's going to hit for massive chunks. And then we have a little bit of sprinkling of removal with Force Choke, a cheap way to deal with very expensive threats because we don't care about them drawing a card. We're trying to rush them down. Let's dive into the games today and see what we can do. All right, and we're diving into our first recorded game. I actually played a couple of games before these games just for fun and, while I was finishing my food, but I'm excited to play this one. We're going to start off with an Obedient Vanguard. By the way, I resource these rocket droids. Again, the whole point of the deck is to get a bunch of units out and just try to push in damage. And Obedient Vanguard is perfect for that. Now, we do want to drop in another trooper, just in case this guy ends up dying. So the Guavian Antagonizer is a perfect secondary play alongside the Obedient Vanguard here. I went with R2, which is also a pretty nice play. They're going to go ahead and do the R2 thing, which might take a little bit. Tabletop Simulator is a little bit tricky some of these days. Don't worry, we did not. We won't see their hand because they're going to flip it off to the side, draw 3, pick 1, put the rest back. R2 is one of those cards that has been one of the most impressive options. And oh, I'm spinning too much already to get us started. What I will try to do is stay on my side of the battlefield and just use shift or slash alt to go ahead and pull up the cards for you all. I'm still getting used to Tabletop Simulator in terms of from a recording perspective, because when I'm playing, I'm like jumping all over the place and zooming in on all the cards. But I know that's hard to track when you are watching a video. But let's see what they decide to do. They're going to go ahead and figure all that out. We're going to drop in a Guavian Antagonizer. I would love to get the TIE Fighter down. But, well, guess what? The TIE Fighter is not a trooper. So pretty interesting couple of options here. We have General Tog, which I think is going to be the resource here. I'd rather go Ryloth Militia plus Fallen Lightsaber here as Ryloth Militia plus TIE Fighter over Fallen Lightsaber. I'd rather keep the Fallen Lightsaber because it works really well with Wat Tambor. Just putting him on and getting a ton of value. Looks like Ahsoka Tano is coming out, but it can't ambush. Because it has the same amount of units as I do. So this one, oh, I'm doing it again, guys. I'm doing it again. This one here, anytime you control fewer units than your opponent. So unfortunately, that will not go ahead and work. I'm going to go ahead and hit their base for 2. And if they decide to kill it, we'll get +2/+2 for the Guavian Antagonizer, plus another +2/+2. And we are kind of off to the races. Let's go ahead and drop in a TIE Fighter. And then we're going to drop in a Ryloth Militia. And we're kind of flooding the board very, very quickly. Hopefully we draw a couple cards that are units so we can continue to flood the board. But, well, if we don't, that's okay as well. Draw 2. Let's ready up another Fallen Lightsaber here. So I can resource one of them and then just play one of the Fallen Lightsabers plus a Guavian Antagonizer, which I think I'd like to do. What is this resource over here? Why is it not readying up with the rest of them? Don't know. But this allows me to put like a Fallen Lightsaber on the Antagonizer or the Ryloth Militia, which is really nice. Remember, if our opponent does go for trying to kill off my Ryloth Militia with their Ahsoka Tano, we can immediately go ahead and give +2/+2 to whatever we choose. And in this case, it'll probably be the Guavian Antagonizer, which is pretty nice. So definitely like my spots. Or we could just give it to the TIE Fighter because this doesn't have that same restriction. Snapshot Reflexes comes in. Let's go ahead and flip that over for them and just tap it. They're going to go ahead and come in and smack. My guess is they're going to hit this one. Okay. So they're going to go ahead and kill this one. They're going to go ahead and kill the Ryloth Militia, which is going to drop 2 damage onto their Ahsoka Tano and give us the option to go ahead and smack in for 2 into their base. And again, we can use the Wat Tambor ability to give the TIE Fighter +2/+2. So there's not really a rush. I would love to drop the Fallen Lightsaber on the Guavian Antagonizer, get in an extra 3 points of damage. I know I'd love to save it for Wat Tambor, but we just want to use our resources pretty efficiently here. So let's go ahead and drop in our second Guavian Antagonizer. They're going to get a Batch Brothers down, which is not bad. If they go ahead and kill... Ooh... Actually, I did not think about that. Yeah, but they're going to go ahead and kill off my my Antagonizer because of the Ahsoka Tano ability. Definitely a misplay from me. Let's go ahead and use this on this guy. To give +2/+2. And then we're going to attack their base for 4. And then we're going to put a Fallen Lightsaber on our Guavian Antagonizer. Yeah, so what should have happened there is I should have played out the Fallen Lightsaber on my Guavian Antagonizer, and I would have gotten in for additional 5 points of damage this turn. And right now, that's not the case. So really big misplay from me in that spot. And we draw ourselves Force Choke and a punishing one, which I'm going to resource the Force Choke. We need more units in this stage of the game. Definitely need more units. So Obedient Vanguard, Guavian Antagonizer, definitely solid options here. I do like having the space and ground unit mix because it gives us an option to kind of safely put the +2/+2 from Wat Tambor over. But Obedient Vanguard only applies to troopers, so we do want a healthy number of troopers in the deck, and well, that's why we're playing things like Antagonizer, as well as some other things. So here, hits for 5, which is not going to quite kill it, but we will be able to go ahead and hit in for 5 with this thing. So they're going to use Ahsoka's ability, hit for 5. We're going to hit for 5 into their base. And then they're probably going to kill off the Obedient Vanguard. I wouldn't be surprised. It kind of does 0 value now, but we want to attack with Guavian Antagonizer because it obviously gets in for more damage. So that's going to turn into 3 damage. 3 damage. Tabletop Simulator, guys. It's a struggle. And then we're going to go ahead and give +2/+2 to the TIE Fighter, because we want to use the extra action so we can guarantee our damage. We'll flip Wat Tambor. Ahsoka Tano is a 6-powered unit, so that's a little bit sketchy for us. Hit our base for 2. We're going to ready up Wat Tambor. They're not going to deploy Ahsoka. So we will be able to get an attack with Wat Tambor for 3, and then put +2/+2 again on the TIE Fighter. So that's a total power of 6 power on our TIE Fighter. They're going to ready up Ahsoka at this point, and they're going to go ahead and fill the Wrath 6. So it should be 6. I already put the base damage on. They were asking 6 in the chat. By the way, I moved myself over to the right-hand side so you guys can see the chat a little bit better. We're learning here, guys. We're learning. But yeah, Wat Tambor here, giving +2/+2 to another friendly unit that was defeated this phase. They're going to knock Wat Tambor out. But we get to go ahead and get down a punishing one. And remember, they haven't used any resources yet, and we have all space units. It depends, of course, on what they have. If they have like a Millennium Falcon here, that's going to be real tough because they can go in and knock out the TIE Fighter and then start putting in damage into the punishing one. But that does mean that we're going to get an attack in with the punishing one for sure next turn. If they go, assuming they don't have anything too crazy, they got themselves an Anakin's fighter here. But they're at 2 HP remaining, which means we just claim initiative here. And assuming they don't have anything, they are gone because of the arena, right? 26 HP gives Ahsoka Tano the power of 6 power, but still not quite enough. And that's going to be the end of this game. So pretty nice showing from this deck so far. I mean, again, rushing the board with all of these cards. And we even misplayed a little bit in the beginning there with that Fallen Lightsaber. And that's going to be the end of the game. But also, my opponent could potentially have gone ahead and maybe deployed Ahsoka Tano, so I didn't get the attack in with Wat Tambor. 26 HP base. When they go ahead and deploy Ahsoka, so they could one-shot Wat Tambor, that could have potentially happened. So they would have avoided an additional 5 damage. But if we had the 5 damage with Guavian Antagonizer, it would have kind of broken even. So, I think a pretty close game nonetheless. But Ahsoka Yellow kind of doing some work here against us. Batch Brothers is a card that I've been pretty impressed with. It definitely works well against any go wide strategies, as you just have so many different options to kind of kill off a bunch of things. But yeah, so far, so good with Wat Red. Not a bad showing. All right, so we're into the second game here, and I have rolled an 8. I know, we drew our cards, then we rolled. Sue us, it's fine, we'll be okay. But let's see what we can do here with this deck. Ryloth Militia is pretty solid. I definitely like it in this deck. I think in this spot, I would actually like to go Ryloth Militia plus Hu Yang. The only tricky part about that is the fact that if we do that, we are running the risk of our opponent going Anakin plus, using Anakin's ability plus a unit, which is a little bit risky. So I think I go back on my word and we're just going to play a Death Star Stormtrooper. They're going to go Bo-Katan. We're going to play a Vanguard Infantry. And they're going to take initiative. And we'll draw 2 cards. Got ourselves an Obedient Vanguard, which we will resource. 2 troopers out on the battlefield. Not too bad. But still, Hu Yang is kind of our goal here. If they want to go ahead and kill the Death Star Stormtrooper, that's fine. I'll go ahead and give +2 to the Vanguard Infantry. And if they have like an open fire, that's also fine. We will just go ahead and get the Ryloth Militia plus Obedient Vanguard. But they don't. So we're going to go Hu Yang on Vanguard Infantry. And that means that we get to go ahead and attack for 5. So 5. And then draw a couple cards. Another Hu Yang. I think Hu Yang's pretty good. But I think in this spot... Oh man, Hu Yang is unique. But maybe I'd want to play it. I don't have a Separatist is the problem, so Separatist Droid Bomber is looking pretty bad on this turn. I would love it for the next turn. Going Ryloth Militia plus Vanguard Droid Bomber could potentially be interesting. If one of these is a Separatist, that'd be awesome, but I'd have to go Obedient Vanguard plus Vanguard Droid Bomber, which is a lot more tricky. So here, this gets +2/+2, so it can't quite kill the K2. So I'll just go ahead and hit their base for 2. Hit us for 2. I'll hit their base for 3. And then let's see what they've got. I think they're taking initiative. So let's go ahead and drop in Ryloth Militia and Obedient Vanguard. And then we will ready up. And, ooh, really nice draw on the Fall Lightsaber. I'm going to go and resource that Guavian Antagonizer. We have a ton of units on the battlefield, and we have the Hu Yang pumping. I'm sure they're going to try to take out the Hu Yang. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they decide to do here. Hu Yang essentially represents 4 power, whereas the Ryloth Militia represents 3. So I think Hu Yang is the choice. I don't know if you want to do damage to your base to overwhelm with K2. I think you're on the defensive here, but, maybe they want to do something a little bit differently. Whoop, bouncing the K2 totally happens. Here, I'm just going to go ahead and I think I would like to pump the Ryloth Militia. Let's see what they decide to do. A-Wing. So I think in this spot, we're pretty safe. The reason why I pumped is because I was worried about like an aggression coming out so they can kill it. But now we're just going to go Obedient Vanguard into the base for 2. Got raid 1 on this card, so it's going to be a 2-powered attacker. Remember, we have the Fallen Lightsaber with Wat Tambor that essentially represents 8 points of damage in the same turn, which is going to be pretty massive. Let's go Vanguard Infantry into the base for 1. Then we also have 5 damage from Ryloth Militia. And we also have Vanguard Droid Bomber, which represents 2 damage. They're going to go ahead and hit this. Oh, hit the base. Hit the base for 4. Already up Watt at this point. They probably have something waiting for Watt. No, they're going to claim initiative. So now we're going to go ahead and put a Fallen Lightsaber on him. Whoops. And then attack for 6. And then for 9. Or 7. Sorry. Then we're going to grab our cards. And look at that. Great ending. We have a lot of value on the board. Lots of things going wide. The Vanguard Droid Bomber can finish it off on its own. And absolutely just rushing down our opponents with a bunch of small units and getting value from Wat Tambor is extremely valuable. Ooh, look at this card. So they got unlimited power, 4 damage to a unit, 3 damage to a second unit, 2 damage to a third unit, and 1 damage to a fourth unit. So They just get to absolutely smash basically wiping my whole board. But it doesn't necessarily matter because we have the Wat Tambor attack and the Separatist droid bomber. But an absolutely sweet card, and that is a card where if they're able to control the board a little bit more in the earlier stages, then it is really rough for them. But one of the big problems is that we go wide oftentimes on the ground a little bit easier, and so because they had a space unit earlier on, it was really tough for them to kind of recover from that area. So really nice game, and well, absolutely just rushing people down with Wat Tambor. Not bad. All right, so we're into our third game against Slice and Dice. We roll a 12. Let's see what they end up rolling. A 1. Nice. Love that. Ooh, okay, so very, very space-heavy hand. I really like this, actually. I'm going to go and resource the Guavian Antagonizer and the General Tog. I'm going to go TIE Fighter into TIE Fighter, and play the Hu Yang, which hopefully kind of does a lot of work. And I'm hoping that they're going to start off with a ground unit, and they did. So we get double TIE Fighter. They're going to take initiative, and we're going to draw a couple cards here. Bo-Katan, I think, is going to be the resource here. I'd rather just get more units on the battlefield. Oop. Looks like our TIE Fighter was a little bit too far away for that. Jedi lightsaber, huh? All right, all right. Let's attack in for 2. They're going to smack us for 6, right? Yep. And we're just going to go ahead and play out the Hu Yang. And we'll attack for 4. So we actually are even on damage, but our leader deploys a little bit quicker, which is pretty nice. Ooh, wow. Really, really kind of go wide hand here. More space units coming out. If they go ahead and hit my Hu Yang with the lightsaber, remember, we still get the +2/+2 with Wat Tambor. So really, really nice situation. It's one of the reasons why I love Hu Yang. You kind of guarantee so much damage with him just because of the fact that you kind of have to deal with him. But you still get the +2/+2, which is nice. Let's play or get +2/+2 to the TIE Fighter. And let's see what we can do. Ooh, what is this? Oh, we got the Stila. Okay, so they're going to be looking for a tactic card if they want to. They're not going to deal damage. Okay, let's go ahead and drop in a punishing one here. So hit for 6. And then we'll drop in a TIE Fighter. And then we will pass the turn. So into the next draw step, we got ourselves an Overwhelming Barrage and a Relentless Rocket Droid. All 3 TIE Fighters on the battlefield. What's his face? Wat Tambor can come down this turn, which looks pretty good. It's just a matter of, do I actually want to go with the Wat Tambor here, or am I going to have to go with, trying to Overwhelming Barrage with the Punishing One first? So what's interesting about this is I can attack with Punishing One, kill the Sabine, and then ready up the Punishing One a second time. So they're going to go ahead and kill off the Punishing One. Let's go ahead and give the +2/+2 to the TIE Fighter. So they're going to attack in for 4 here. I'm going to attack in for 4 myself. And they kind of just have to pass here, because if they don't, we just win the entire game, basically. Hit for 2, and if they want to pass here, okay, they're going to hit for 6. So we're going to go ahead and ready up Wat now, and I mean, the game is basically over. Because we're going to go Overwhelming Barrage, this guy. Just kill it. And then we'll hit for 5. And then 4. And then draw 2. And I mean, what can my opponent really do? All right, we got Overwhelming Barrage Part 2, another Ryloth Militia, and I mean, Obi-Wan can come down, but what can he do? So GG, he's calling out. You can heal 1 damage to a unit on attack with Obi-Wan, but I mean, to deal 1 damage to one of our TIE Fighters, but realistically, you're going to need some sort of option to really go ahead and heal up so you can actually deal that 1 point of damage to kill off a TIE fighter. So absolutely rushing down our opponent here. Obi-Wan really having a hard time just kind of stabilizing, but that's mainly because they had no space units to compete. The Jedi lightsaber on turn 2 can be really good. It's just a matter of we had a very space heavy draw, which was nice for us. But I think if we had a nice wide ground board, we could have had potentially some more trouble, especially with Obi-Wan healing up and maybe stalling off a little bit. So pretty nice game. On to the next one. All right, so we find ourselves in another game against Slice and Dice here. I think I'm going to resource this guy and one of the Bo-Katans, and then we're going to see what they end up going with. They got Anakin's Interceptor, so we're going to go with that Bo-Katan here on turn 1, and then we're going to draw a couple cards. Got ourselves a double Vanguard Droid Bomber, which I do like a lot. Do I want to go with the B1 attack platform? If I go with that, it gives Bo-Katan +1 power, which I do like. But I can also go Droid Bomber to get in for 2 plus the Obedient Vanguard. I think in this spot, I actually want to resource the Obedient Vanguard, and I want to try to go for B1 attack platform into General Tog plus Droid Bomber on the following turn. So let's go B1 attack platform. Nice little curve out here. See what our opponent's got. Okay, they've got themselves a Sabine, which we're going to go ahead and kill it so that they can't go ahead and remove my Bo-Katan. And then we'll just go ahead and draw 2. Or they can't remove my B1 attack platform. And we're just going to draw 2, drawing into a Vanguard infantry there. Or wait, we actually want to resource. Yeah, we want to resource the TIE fighter. But let's see what we've got. Bo-Katan getting that +1 power from the B1 attack platform is really nice here. So love that. Mandalorian unit is the one that gives Overwhelm and Saboteur. So don't really care about that too much. They're going to go 4 power or 4 resources into a K2. We got ourselves a Vanguard infantry into General Tog. 3 experience. Absolutely sweet. So we're gonna go ahead and kill the K2, and then we're gonna give +2/+2 to the B1 attack platform, and then we're gonna hit in for 8. Oh. And then we're gonna draw 2. So really nice situation for that. Resource this Ryloth Militia just to use all the resources in our hand. And now we got a bunch of cards, a bunch of plays on the board, as well as that General Tog, just providing a body, not only the experience, but triple experience off the General Tog was absolutely sweet. That is something that you basically never got in set 1 or set 2. So really, really sweet option there. They're going to go ahead and remove a unit, which is totally fine. I'm just going to go ahead and give +2/+2 to the Vanguard Infantry. They're going to go ahead and get in for 2. I'm going to go ahead and attack in with General Tog for 2. Let's see what they've got. They're going to take initiative. We're going to get down a punishing one. I'm going to go ahead and flip over Wat Tambor, which is then going to attack for 3. And then, wait, hold on. So that should be it. 6 + 3 = 9 total. And then we play this and then deal 2 to their base. And then we draw 2. And then we don't resource anything. So really sweet turn. Again, this has 2 on it. We gave the +2/+2 from Wat Tambor on the flip side, or on the front side, to Vanguard Infantry to give it 4 power. Then we attack with Wat Tambor to give it 6 power, which is a total of 6 damage from Vanguard Infantry. And again, they don't even want to remove Vanguard Infantry because we're going to get an experience token. It is like super oppressive here, which is really, really nice. I'm going to go ahead and attack in to give this +2/+2. And then we can go ahead and attack into Obi-Wan if we want. I think they have to deploy Obi-Wan here to get Sentinel down. If they don't, they're kind of doomed. Guavian Antagonizer also has Saboteur, a little hidden bonus from this card that a lot of people forget about. Let's see what our opponent's got. Grenade Strike. Okay. So I think the game is over at this point. I'm gonna attack in for 2. They needed to play Obi-Wan here so that they can get the Sentinel bodied up. I didn't get an attack in with the ground units unless they have a way to kill off my space unit. And that's gonna be GG. So win against the Obi red deck, which was pretty sweet. But boom, 4 damage into base, and that's gonna be the game. So Wat Tambor yet again kind of pulling off a massive go wide, go win deck, and really sweet one. Okay. Not bad. All right, so we're going into the next matchup, and this one's going to be a little bit of a fun one because our opponent over there has got my deck in their leader slot. Rolled a 9. We're winning all the die rolls today. Not bad, not bad. But if we lose or if this doesn't go well, then it's completely my fault because I literally built both decks, right? I think that's how it works. Let's go with Vanguard Infantry here. And they're starting off with Droid Deployment, which is one of the best kind of options you're really looking for in that deck. I'm going to go and resource this General Tog because we got a lot of space units in this spot. So I don't think we're going to get that sweet 3 experience in this matchup. There's also a Hu Yang, though, which can go on that TIE Fighter, which might happen, or just a Vanguard plus Antagonizer turn, which could look pretty nice as well. And, ooh, okay, so they're going to go ahead and kill that Vanguard Infantry, which is going to give it an experience token over to that TIE Fighter. And I think with that, I'm interested in going Antagonizer plus TIE Vanguard, because that's going to give us the most damage this turn. While also, our Hu Yang is just going to die to the Droid Commando. I guess it's not quite the most damage because we hold on, I'm thinking. I was gonna say Hu Yang is actually more damage than the TIE Vanguard because we will go ahead and end up getting that +2 damage instead of just +1 damage with the TIE Vanguard, but well, we will see. A lot of exploit cards and a lot of cards in general that they could be playing here that really mess us up. Like we could see, heck, Count Dooku coming down, kill both the TIE Fighter and the TIE Vanguard, which is really bad, right? Really, really bad. But could be worse. Droid Commando with a 3 toughness. Going to go ahead and get killed there. And I think we will go ahead and just give +2/+2 to TIE Fighter. The reason I'm doing this is because, again, they could have like a Count Dooku and such to really make it a lot worse for us. But let's go to attack for 2 with our TIE Vanguard. They've got a Salacious Crumb. Ooh, okay. Healing 1. Let's hit for 6. Boom. And then let's see if they take initiative. They're going to hit us for 1. I think that's pretty smart because they know that we have a bunch of resources available. Okay, we're going to get hit for 1. We're going to take initiative. And now we're going to draw. Okay. Ooh, TIE Vanguard, TIE Fighter, Overwhelming Barrage. I like the Overwhelming Barrage a lot. What I could do here with Overwhelming Barrage is, this is currently at 4 power. I get it 6 power. I can go 1/1/1/3 and just wipe everything, which could actually get rid of potential exploit nonsense. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And just kill everything. It's just gonna kill everything. I know I put a bunch of pings down there, but that wasn't necessarily necessary. Reason we're doing this over, trying to use it on like Wat Tambor or something like that is because exploit decks, it can be really, really tricky to go ahead and kind of get some value going. But, well, let's go ahead and put Watt into his second state. And I think we'll just smash into that AAT. So we're going to go ahead and smack in for, what is that, 9-11. And then we'll hit this for 3. Why not? I could have kept him on the flip side and just relied on that +2/+2 because the Sentinel's kind of obnoxious, but, well, can be a little bit tricky sometimes with that. We're not going to resource anything. I kind of just wanted to get rid of this AAT so I could play additional ground units and get in for some damage. Like a Death Star Stormtrooper, TIE Vanguard, Overwhelming Barrage. Okay. So we're going to smack out Wat Tambor and kill some units, huh? Okay. TIE Fighter down. And so was my Wat Tambor. Let's get some of these dice out of here. I think in this spot, I'll just go ahead and smack in with Punishing One. So smack in with Punishing One for 3. Yes, he does have one more with the patrolling AAT. Boom. Okay, yeah. Absolutely correct math there from Paladin. Smacking in. I'll go TIE Vanguard and put the experience on the Punishing One to get an extra experience. I for some reason I thought I was going to have the TIE Vanguard because I didn't do the math right on Overwhelming Barrage, which means that, well, we're just going to smack in with the Punishing One for 4, and then we'll play out the Death Star Stormtrooper, and then we'll draw a couple cards. Okay, we're going to resource the Fallen Lightsaber, be able to play multiple 3-resource plays this turn. This is the stage of the game where it might look like it's guaranteed, but there are still options for my opponent, right? If they have another Overwhelming Barrage here, it could be really bad for us. They wipe our board. They get to deploy Count Dooku. Ooh, what do they have? Ooh, Reinforcement Walker, huh? Okay. That could be a little bit tricky for sure. Let's see. Yeah, that could be a little bit tricky for sure. Crate Dragon. But we're just going to smack in for 3 or for 4. And then we're going to hit and finish off the game. Count Dooku is going to struggle a little bit against this deck for sure. Especially in the space arena, you kind of need that Overwhelming Barrage or a really early Separatist curve out, like a Separatist card that you can really exploit out. And if you didn't get that, then it can really, really be rough in some cases. But good game. And I think that would be the last one for the video. All right, so what did we learn with Wat Tambor Red? First off, big thank you to Paladin, Papa Hawk, and Slice and Dice for getting in some games with me. It was a ton of fun. First thing is, it is really tough for opponents to deal with it without kind of knowing that the flood is coming, dealing with that many units at a single given moment. And we saw that multiple times. Opponents oftentimes will be able to kill something, keep their unit around, but we would just rush them down. We would kind of ignore it. Things like Vanguard Infantry it's not something that people want to use up in action to kill, but just having a unit on the battlefield still allows us to use that Wat Tambor action and still remain a threat. One of the most impressive cards in this deck is actually Ryloth Militia. It's basically just a Battlefield Marine, which is really, really nice. And of course, just having a bunch of 1-resource plays is really nice. We saw that one game where we got the absolute dream, General Tog plus 3 experience tokens. That's not going to happen very often, but of course, sometimes it does. Some other cards that are actually really, really impressive. Fallen Lightsaber you saw on the Wat Tambor flip turn. That turns a 7 damage attack on that turn to a 10 damage. And we even saw in some games where we had like Fallen Lightsaber plus Vanguard Droid Bomber. That's a total of 12 damage just between Fallen Lightsaber, Droid Bomber, and our leader. That's not including any other cards that we already had on the battlefield or any other attacks that we had already gotten in before that. Another really excellent one was Overwhelming Barrage. so many times that we just wiped our opponent's entire board. It was really, really quite excellent. A couple of cards that I would kind of think about maybe changing out. I'm still not sure about Heavy, Relentless Rocket Droid, and B1 Attack Platform. I think there was one game there where we saw like a Batch Brothers coming in, and they were playing Anakin, I think it was, and so they got to kill like 2 units, and because it has 2 toughness with the B1 Attack Platform, it just dies to basically everything. I think this card's, depending on the matchup, really solid or really weak, but that 2 toughness also makes it weak to control, like make an opening and equalize. So I don't know if B1 Attack Platform is the way to go. The other thing that I think I would change, 3 Force Chokes. Guys, we saw Force Choke just absolutely crush in some games. It's just so much value for so low. But man, I did not expect us just absolutely kind of rush down some people and get so much value. Heck, even in some of those games you saw, we were able to use Wat Tambor's ability and like the low cost units to get enough value to where we're actually using it to kill off our opponent's units so we can remain control of board states, so that we can leverage Wat Tambor for potentially multiple turns in a row when he's on the field. So a little bit of different ways you can go about, playing out the games. But still, the rush down strategy, I think if there is going to be control decks, and they're not necessarily prepared for this, of course, something like Equalize is really good against us. They can kill off, like, basically, if we go TIE Fighter, Death Star, Stormtrooper, they go Equalize turn 2, and it is, well, really, really rough. But this is something that I think has a lot of potential, and I'm really curious to see what people come up with Wat Tambor. I was really impressed with it. Heck, I think that another change that you can very much make is instead of Death Watch Hideout, just running Tarkin Town, because there are going to be spots where your opponent hits a unit and it's like an Obedient Vanguard, or it's a Vanguard Infantry, and it's got 4 toughness. Very, very high, very, very, very common on turn 1 and turn 2 to have that happen, and then you just get to remove their unit with Tarkin Town. I think that could be a nice addition as well. But let me know how you think about the deck, what you think about it. It was a lot of fun, and also a little bonus to this one. I didn't mention it in the deck tech, but it's like $40. Every single card here, for the most part, are going to be very, very cheap cards. There are a few rares, like Fallen Lightsaber, Hu Yang, for example. But these are some of the cheaper rares. And to be honest, this is one of the most powerful budget decks I have played, if not, top of the line budget deck from set 3. I mean, it just did really well, right? Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all for the next one.